Hi guys, welcome to the CC session. We have our team here with us today and we're super excited to, talk about what we do as a magazine. I think we have enough people to start with actually. So I think maybe we can just jump into our first, it's a very simple and basic warm-up exercise. And I would like everyone to use your imagination and go for this. So we've put the Jamboard link on the chat. So just open the Jamboard link and you'll be able to see the first slide, which has an illustration from our magazine. And in 14 words and not more, exactly 14 words, you have to write a mini story of what you see. There's no hard and fast rule. It has nothing to do with the original article. It's just whatever you see, you just write a story based on that. And I would say your time starts now. You can take a sticky note on the side. You'll have lots of them. And you can start writing on that so that you have individual stories.
Write a story about the image that's on the Jamboard.
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
I was wondering if you have to write a story about the image that's on the slide.
No, on the Jamboard. The Jamboard link is on the chat.
Okay, thank you.
Do take sticky notes. I feel that might just be easier for everyone to, see different stories come together. They're on the left side. I'll give you more than 5 minutes. I think I'll give you 7 minutes. Dave, Pragya's checking if you could share the screen with the Jamboard.
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, okay.
That's a good idea. Actually, it's better than sharing the PPT right now.
So don't stress about the story. 5 or 14 words is really less, but it's how you're going to interpret the artwork. Have some coming in. It's a Brahmini kite, just FYI, sorry. We'll let you draw in the next activity, don't worry. Oh yeah, for the next activity, I hope all of you have a paper and a pencil easily accessible. We definitely need it. Everybody, not much time is left. Come on. It's an easy one. Hey. Good. Some of them are really dark. We have 2 more minutes. Okay, I think we will wrap up. I know a lot of you haven't written, but that's okay. We can, oh, there are more coming in. 1 second. There are more coming in. Yeah, I think we wrap this one up. Dave, is it time? Yeah.
Shucks, I forgot to keep time.
No worries.
It's
Okay, so this was basically an activity to see how each person interprets art so differently. We have some really hilarious ones, which are like learn to sing properly and learn new songs. And then some really dark ones, which are obviously focusing on the very obvious pollution, which is the topic of this illustration here. But yeah, current conservation is where art and science meet. There's a lot to do with how people present the artwork, and art is a huge part of it because we feel like it communicates the topic in a very different way, and hence we make sure that all the artworks that CC does are properly thought through and have a lot of context behind them. With this, actually, I want you guys to take out your pen and paper. And if you guys are all comfortable with this, could you please turn on your videos? Because we would like to see all of you. And what we can also do is take out that pen and paper. Dave, could you move to the next slide? And this is like a really favorite topic of ours, which is a segment on CC as well. And it's about what you observe around you. So in the last week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, as much time as you want, what was the last wildlife that you saw around you? And if you could quickly, in literally 2 minutes, draw it for us. And please do share your screens so we can see the illustration. It can just be a squiggle, it can be a like a V for a bird. It can be anything, just as we are no amazing artists here. So like it's all about being able to just share what you can make. Dave, I think you might have to stop sharing screen so that we could see everybody. Yeah.
Will do.
Yeah. So if you guys can all turn on your videos, and we will, after you're done drawing a very quick illustration, we'll take a photograph of that.
Hey, Manani, are you going to draw too?
No.
Why not?
I've been drawing way too much. I can probably just like show what I've been drawing. Where is it? I don't know where it went. Anyway. Is everyone drawing? Yay! If you're done drawing, you can show us your screens. Like you can show your turn on the video and show us what you've drawn. Marianne, what did you draw? You draw a bird, so cute. Butterfly and moths. Is that butterfly or moth? Butterfly? Anu? Yeah, okay. Butterfly. Hi, Nishad. Nice to meet you.
Hi.
Hi. Okay, everybody's videos on. Quick, real quick, one image of whatever you've drawn, and then we take a photo so that we can put it up on our lovely Instagram handle, which you guys hopefully are following. So cute. They drew a bat.
Yeah, flying foxes.
Flying foxes, yeah.
Oh,
Krishna,
man.
I know you're drawing something back there.
Oh, I love that frog.
Yeah, it's really nice. The frog is so nice. Ah, there's a very nice moth also. Wow, lizard, gecko, pigeon. Pigeon, right, Abhishek? Nice. Very cool. Okay. Thanks so much for sharing, guys. Do you guys, are people still sharing? Okay. What is that? Ooh. You have to tell me, Sunny, what that is.
So I am at my home and I didn't see any wildlife
Okay.
3-4 weeks, but I have seen our planet, so high sea episode. So I'm trying
Nice.
to make well.
Very cool. Yeah, virtual wildlife. Why not? Definitely. Very nice. Okay, thank you guys. So this was just like a warm-up exercise before we start our very long drawn presentation. And, it was just to get you started about how you observe things around you. It's a very small way of conservation, but even something as simple, oh, that crab is lovely, Nikki. Sorry, just something as simple as observing the wildlife around you is a great way of helping in conservation. I don't know if you all know, but there are these very nice citizen science programs, and my favorite being INAT, of course, where you can upload all your observations. And that's why even Current Conservation has a segment called CC on the Go, where we get people to observe wildlife around them, photograph it, take videos, draw it, anything. And you can, share it with us, and we would like reshare it or feature you on our page. Okay, so with that, I think Devati would take you through this little journey of Current Conservation. For you, Dev.
Just having some tech issues today. All right, so this is us. We are Current Conservation, and we like to think of ourselves as a campfire to which we invite scientists, science writers, and artists across the world to huddle around and tell stories from the field of conservation. So the articles that we publish in CC cover a range of topics, from climate change to human-wildlife interaction, environmental policy, indigenous communities, wildlife conservation, and much more. And we just like to tell you a little more about the magazine, like our history and how we've evolved over the years. So we started back in 2007, and primarily, our main aim was to translate research article summaries for a general audience. But soon after, we introduced different article types, such as feature articles, book reviews, amongst other content. And a few years after that, we introduced illustrations to create a more engaging look. And, the illustrations were just supposed to be a way to shore up the stories. But before we knew it, they took on a life of their own, and CC became a platform where art meets science, as Manani already mentioned. And over the past 15 years, we've gone from being a simple, almost like a simple newsletter to this platform where we think that art meets science. And one of the main features of CC over the past few years has been this visual design. And you can actually ask Manani more about the art editing process during our Q&A session later. I just wanted to give you an idea of what our artwork looks like. On the right, you'll see CC Kids, which is an annual supplement. And this is where we bring stories from conservation for a younger audience, so children and young adults. CC rests on 3 pillars. So one of those is conservation science. The second is storytelling. And then we have the visual narrative. So another way of putting this is, when we receive a story, we look at whether we ask ourselves, like, is this based on sound science? Is it imaginative? And does it tell a good story? Things that we don't look for in articles are like romantic rambles about wildlife. We don't really want to see technical language and jargon, because the aim of the magazine is to translate crucial work that's being done in conservation for a wide range of audiences. And we also don't tend to like, dry scientific writing with just a series of factual statements. And with that, I'm going to hand over to Greta. Greta, you might have to unmute.
Yeah. Thank you, Dave. The current conservation was started by Karthik Shankar, who is also founding trustee of, also one of the founding trustee of Dakshin Foundation, and also a professor at IISc Bangalore. And at CC's volume 15 currently, we are a core team of 4. So Devti as executive editor and Manani as managing and art editor. And I work as the assistant managing editor. We also function with the help of our extended team of editors and advisory board of experienced researchers and conservationists who works with us on a voluntary basis. And we also have an amazing group of interns who are from diverse background who helps us function. And next slide, Dave. We are housed in Dakshin, and we are supported by all of these amazing organizations who makes it possible to produce CC. And the next slide. So we're available on all social media platforms, and if you haven't been following us already, please do. And if you have any queries, or if you want to reach out to us, you can write to us on this email ID, editor.ccmagazine@gmail.com. I'll also add it to the chat. You can also contribute to CC via submitting articles and volunteering your time with us. Also, you can consider subscribing and donating to us as well. We'll explain about the different ways of contributions in a little more detail during our next session, which is Q&A. Moving on to the Q&A session, we have already received a bunch of questions via the registration forms, which we have broadly categorized, and we'll start by answering them now. And if you have any further questions, you can add it to the chat box and we'll get to that after. Thank you. Over to you, Dev. Yeah.
So as Greta said, we already received lots and lots and lots of questions. So we pulled out some of the relevant ones and categorized them. In fact, they're on the Jamboard. So what I can do is quickly share my screen so that we're all looking at it. And I seem to have lost the link to the Jamboard itself. There we go. Just give me a second. So feel free to post your questions in the chat here. And because, you know, once the Zoom session, once you all exit Zoom, those questions are going to be lost. We're also going to post them.
We'll save the chat. Sorry, just to say that we will save the chat. We will not lose your questions. We're going to write back to you if we don't answer your questions.
Okay, fantastic. We're going to have the questions, but we're also going to put them on the Jamboard as you ask them. And with that, I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so most of the questions that we got that were related to the magazine, right, were about these three categories, largely four. And the first one being, what is the submission process? And so we accept submissions year-round. And Gretz, could you share the link to the submissions page here? When you go to this page on our website, you'll actually be able to see the different article types that we publish, as well as the editor's email ID, the one that was up on the slide earlier. So what you can do is you can either send us a pitch for an article, and then we'll get back to you about whether this is something we think we can publish, or if we're interested in reading the rest of it. Or if you already have a full article that you've written, you can send that across to us as well. And the editorial process is something like this. So on our end, the minute that we receive something, I'm going to stop sharing my screen because I can't see you guys. Okay, so when we receive an article, it goes to a member of the editorial board, and then a decision is made. You know, it's either like a straight up rejection if it isn't quite within the ambit of what we publish, or if we think there's scope, then we send it to for review to an expert in the field. And based on the reviewer's comments as well as the editor's comments, we might ask for changes to be made. And once an article is accepted, then it goes for editing, and by which I mean mostly copy editing. And after that, it goes for art editing. And again, Manini will talk about that in a bit. But that is like largely the process that we follow. And I'd just like to mention here that not all articles get illustrated. It's most like definitely all of the articles that get selected for the print magazine get illustrated. And with the online only articles, we try and illustrate as many of them as possible. But it really depends on the resources that we have available at that time. So very often we're quite fortunate to have art and design interns who create some of the fantastic work that you see on our social media and some of our online articles as well. And so we can't guarantee that if your article gets accepted, it will definitely get illustrated, but we definitely try. And that is as far as the submission process itself goes. Some people had questions like, can we submit articles if we're just a student? And the answer is yes. There's certain things that we look for in an article, and these things are listed on the submission page. So as long as it checks those boxes, then we we aren't picky about who contributes. In fact, we would encourage as many people as possible to contribute to the magazine. And I think that's about submissions. If you have more details about this process, just put it in the chat box. I'm going to go back to sharing the Jamboard. And I think the next question is, what opportunities are available at CC? Greta, would you like to answer that?
So currently we do not have a paid position to offer. We have internships that we offer on a voluntary basis. And for that, we usually put out calls on our social media when we have a vacancy. And you can reach out to us then, or you can also write to us on the email ID editor.ccmagazine@gmail.com. With your CV and portfolio. And when we have a vacancy, we'll get back to you on that. I think that's sort of it, yeah. The next question, I think, about art editing.
Yeah, so the art editing process is basically the fun part of CC. And what we get to do here is when the article comes in, and if Devati accepts or rejects it, yes, she is the person who will accept or reject your article. Joking. It comes to me, and if it's going into print, and then I go through the article, read it, understand what the context is like, see what the fun parts or the important parts that need to be communicated through illustration are. And based on that, I have like this database of illustrators that we keep collecting. So if you've been following social media, you would know that we keep putting out these calls for illustrators or designers, and we go through those emails, and like 600-700 of them, and we skim through them, and then we add the people who we feel would fit the kind of work we require here at CC. And once that's done, I pick them based on the style and the kind of article it is. And yeah, voila, we have an illustrated article there. So that's as simple as it gets. Yeah, in detail, if you would want to have a chat about this, please do ask us in the chat box. But yeah, I think Dev, the last one, if you want to address it.
Yeah, a couple of people actually asked us what the goals for the magazine are for this year. And it's actually quite a long list. So it includes things like expanding our team, expanding our social media, getting more long form articles, also reaching out to more readers from non-academic backgrounds, as well as increasing the number of partnerships and collaborations that we have. So earlier this year, we launched quite an exciting partnership with the Society for Conservation Biology. And they are like an international membership for students, scientists, and NGOs who are involved in the science and practice of conservation. So through them, we are trying to get more research in translation articles. And, you know, but that is still like quite an academic like subset of the population. So really what we want to do is like reach out to people that don't necessarily have such a scientific background. And we are still like working on this. So hopefully by the end of the year, we would have reached out to like a larger audience.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to mention that we are currently in the process of creating like a more long-term strategy. In fact, that's a part of my role as well, the long-term planning for the magazine. And we want to take a look at our own values and our mission and and, you know, put those together in a strategic plan that will allow us to accomplish our goals. It's a long drawn iterative process. So we only just got started on it like a month ago or so, and hopefully soon we will have a strategy document that's also publicly available, maybe on the website. But yeah, more updates on that later.
Dev, I think another one of our
Sorry, I think you froze for a bit.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
So currently we sadly don't have enough funding to pay our authors, but that is also something that we are trying to work towards. Yeah, and that's like definitely a more like nascent, like early hitting goal. So hopefully we do it fast.
Oh yeah, thanks. So someone, okay, Nishant has asked in the chat, will you publish poems in Science and Nature? Yes, we do. We actually have a category called For Better or Worse, like VERSE. And so you're welcome to you're welcome to send in poems.
Sorry about the bad pun, Nishant. That is all Karthik's job.
Yeah, so absolutely do send us your poetry.
We for our social media also, actually, we've been working with, currently our intern team is about 7 or 8 people, and they have been doing a fabulous job of brainstorming, and we all get together and come up with concepts for our social media, because we feel that's really the place where we can communicate to a much larger audience. Like, there is still a limitation to the number of people who actually read articles, but Instagram is easy, right? Instagram, everyone has access to. Twitter, everyone has access to. So, it's a lot easier to see snippets or read snippets, or, have different kind of other interactions which are also informing you about conservation and conservation efforts. So that's what our social media handles try and do. Yeah, I hope that is something that you guys see and like. Let us know if you have any feedback about that.
And if you don't ask us questions now, we'll just keep talking.
Well, actually, if there are no further questions, what we can do, which would be nice, is maybe take a break before we get into our next session. So we will, we can wait 5 minutes to see if questions come in. And if not, then we will resume at 12:30 for the next session with our biodiversity and resource monitoring flagship sub-program. Yeah, so if, those who don't have questions, if you don't want to stick around, you can stay connected. You don't have to exit the chat because we won't be closing this chat, but feel free to go take a water break, tea break, bathroom break, whatever break is needed, and come back by 12.
Marianne, I think a few people are just writing things on chat. Sunny, sure. Tell us, what would you like to say?
Actually, Sunny, while you're typing, there's a question from Nishant about how much time it generally takes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think Sunny wanted to ask on call.
Sunny, go ahead. Sunny, if you can already answer.
No. It's okay. Let's first answer that question, then I will say if I will take time.
How much time it takes for an article to get published? That's quite a difficult one, because some articles, when they come in, it just sails through the review process, and maybe there aren't so many edits. In that case, the turnaround is quite quick. And there are other articles that require quite a lot of back and forth with the author. So it really boils down to that. But the other aspect of it is whether it's in the print magazine.
Yeah.
or whether it goes up as an online only article on the website. So with the print magazine, we are a quarterly publication. So that means, we just have 4 issues in the year. And if your article gets selected for one of those, then you essentially have to wait until that issue comes out. And otherwise, if we decide to publish it online, it'll go up immediately as soon as it's ready. Or if we do have the bandwidth to get it illustrated, as soon as the illustrations are ready, the article will go up. Yeah. And Sunny, you can go ahead and ask or say whatever you have in mind.
Yeah, so this is not any question. This is just a feeling I have to share. I'm a Hindi background boy, so I will use some Hindi word also. So Pragya से मुझे पता चला that's about current conservation and now about Dakshin, and I have gone through the whole post, and so I'm educating myself also. So right now I have watched all our planet sessions, and I'm reading about how you all are working and how the art can be used in that thing. So also I was thinking about when that question came, so about poem. So I was thinking like the current conservation is in whole English, but I was feeling like if I'm from a background of different languages, we can try also to educate people in Hindi also. So I usually write stories, poems, and do drama in Hindi. So I was trying to learn and educate myself in English about whole things which is happening, and then I will try to educate people who is from Hindi background. So thank you for motivation.
Yeah.
So
Thank you so much, Sunny, for sharing that actually. And this is one of the other goals, in fact, which we have been really trying to work towards, कि हम हिंदी में publish कर सकते हैं और languages में भी publish कर सकते हैं, क्योंकि इतने सारे अलग-अलग भाषाओं के मेरी हिंदी काफी खराब है, सॉरी। मेरी बंगाली ज्यादा अच्छी है। हाँ, नहीं तो we are trying to do this, and so जब ये presentation शुरू होने वाला था, I was going to say that I'm sorry that it is an only English speaking presentation, and we don't have the bandwidth to kind of talk in other languages, but yeah, we will definitely make it happen for sure. And thanks so much for sharing.
Yeah, really great to hear that.
One thing also I have to mention. So I have the interest in this current conservation and sea, about related to sea. So initiated with Octopus Teacher on Netflix. So some of my 2 friends have suggested me about Octopus Teacher for me. Then suddenly my interest is developed in this thing. So,
yeah, it's a very lovely movie.
I think there's some more questions that have come in the chat, so it doesn't look like we're getting our break right away. You guys can go ahead and continue till 12:30.
This is low-hanging fruit. Are you guys active on Clubhouse? No, we're not actually. Should we be?
We'll get a few more people on board and then we'll do it. I can't handle more social media right now.
As you guys see, it's a very, very small team.
Yes, just 3 people. Yeah.
So right now, no, we're not active on Clubhouse, but we'll think about it. And thanks for, oh wait, I missed a question. What are the topics, issues, and conservation that we have, that you have not had a chance to explore, but would like to? Oh, so many. And for these sorts of things, we have special issues, like for instance, later, and every second issue of the year is marine themed. And later this year, for the 3rd and 4th issues, we're doing, we're focusing on African conservation leadership, and then on the conservation of migratory species. So these were topics that we thought were relevant and haven't really been covered in popular publications. So we took those up. And a lot of it is just keeping your ears to the ground and sort of picking up on what the important things that need to be talked about. And another issue that we would really like to cover is political ecology and decolonizing conservation. That's like a much larger conversation that has been happening. So we're hoping that the first issue next year could be about this. Yeah, so we don't have as much flexibility in deciding like what kinds of issues we want to cover. As in, we can always invite articles, but because we're an open access, not-for-profit magazine, we end up relying quite a lot on voluntary contributions. So very often it's dictated by what contributions we get. And so, yeah, it's something that we're still trying to work on, and we are trying to raise funds to be able to get professional writers on board to produce things that are of interest to us personally as well. And is that a question? Can we work for current conservation? Ruchika, I'm not sure if you missed the answer to the question about opportunities with CC. But Greta, talked about that. Gretz, do you want to just summarize it again?
Yeah, currently we provide only internships on a voluntary basis, and we do not have a paid position to offer. So if you're interested, you can write to us with your CV and portfolio for the internship. Yeah.
If that's it, do you want to? Yeah, sorry, Dev.
Yeah, no, I was going to say if that's it, then we can have a break.
Yeah, we can all take a 10-minute break and then join in for the next session, which is at 12:30. Yeah.
Yes. Exactly.
Awesome. Okay.
So everyone just yeah, we'll see you at 12:30. We'll keep the link open, of course.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you, CC team.
Thanks for attending. Anytime.